Today we honor and name the unseen, under-acknowledged work of the season. There's the work of shopping, decorating, cooking, gathering, and then there's the internal work of navigating boundaries and expectations, disappointments, lots of personalities. And this is not easeful ground for many of us, but as we have talked about over the course of this series so far, nothing worthwhile is ever easy. Many of you know that my work has been in the realm of grief and helping people navigate grief and loss. And what's important to know about grief is that it's a normal and natural human response to loss and change. In the leadership literature, there's this idea that people don't resist change, they resist the loss that comes with that change. And I find that this idea is so poignant in our relationships. And when we think about grief, we tend to think about death, but there are, of course, so many more losses that we experience, and many times these losses go unacknowledged or underacknowledged, and we don't honor them as losses, and we don't give them the space that they deserve, particularly if we are comparing losses. We sometimes say, well, I actually have it pretty good, so I'm just going to be grateful for what I have, because so many people have it so much worse. And we are just beginning to see the way that gratitude, everything's fine culture, has been indoctrinated into us. Be grateful. Don't be ungrateful. You see that child over there? Don't be ungrateful like them. Why are you crying? You have everything in the world. And the overculture creates the messaging that grief is the antithesis to gratitude, when actually grief is the friend of gratitude. They aren't separate from one another. And until you hold up the grief in your life and name it and tend to it and offer it the care that it deserves, we cannot truly access gratitude. And this might be controversial. You might be saying, like, you're full of shit. But no matter how many gratitude journals you fill in your lifetime, until we hold up the grief in our life and name it and tend to it and offer it the care it deserves and acknowledge the shit in our life that sucks, we cannot truly access gratitude and all of the things that we are grateful for. I love this quote by Francis Weller. It goes, "The work of the mature person is to hold grief in one hand and gratitude in the other, and to be stretched large by them. How much sorrow can I hold? That's how much gratitude I can give." And I love his teachings on grief and how it's not it doesn't have to be this part of life that we fear. It can be a sacred practice and one that opens us up to more life and reconnects us to the things that actually matter. And so as we navigate boundaries and expectations this holiday season, and remembering that people don't resist change, they resist the loss that comes with change. The invitation is to grieve your unmet expectations and allow others the space to grieve theirs, because the holiday seasons are never going to be perfect. We try to put everything just in place. We try to buy all the right gifts. We try to perfect and add just the perfect touches to the holiday season and come up with the perfect traditions. And that's just not the way that life works. And that's not the way that it usually is. And so the invitation is to grieve your unmet expectations and allow others the space to grieve theirs. And to know that other people's reactions to your boundaries, which is a whole other conversation on how to set boundaries, when they're needed, why they're needed. But just know that other people's reactions to your boundaries are not your work. Your work is to be present, is to tend to your nervous system. It's to live your intention and to grieve what's been lost and allow others the space to grieve their losses for the sake of opening more fully and gratefully to what is here. I love having this conversation. I love offering this perspective on grief. I love doing this work, and I'd love to hear your comments, your takeaways, what's landing for you in the comments below.